Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Petey. Say what's up, Petey.
What's up?
Hey, we're talking about episode 3 of She-Hulk
And four.
and 4, I guess. So hey, today we're going to be talking about. So let's start off first with the People versus Emil Blonsky, number 3. Right? This is She-Hulk. Basically, She-Hulk is going to be the lawyer for Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, the guy who beat her, who fought and tried to kill her cousin, the Hulk. So she's trying to get him out of jail. We see that that somebody dropped a video of him at an illegal what do you call that, illegal fight, and so they're trying to figure out like, hey, this guy wants parole. How the hell are we going to possibly give him that if he was already out, and come back? So of course Emil's saying, hey, the reason I was out is because of Wong. So that's how the story goes. So hey, Petey, what was your take on this? There's also a pretty hilarious thing with an elf from New Asgard, and Megan Thee Stallion, pretending to be Megan Thee Stallion. So we'll get into that a little bit. What's your take on the third episode, my friend? Particularly about the Bill
Um,
Blonsky thing.
I think they're trying to set up something else later for the Abomination. They've also cleaned up the Abomination, so he's a handsome version of the Abomination. How can you have someone with basically leading man face with name Abomination? It doesn't work. The Abomination was an abomination, right? And Marvel at some point, I think it's who's that guy? What's his name? Peter David. He went further, so had the abomination get poured with acid, so he was more of an abomination when kind of redundant. So I think this is kind of wacky. I mean, his crimes were not something that you would kind of let free. That's why you have the criminal break free from these things and start on their new story. But they're trying to set up this thing like almost like a DC thing where the guy has been playing nice, but he basically was trying to destroy a city and possibly trying to kill the Hulk and other peoples. We don't know how many people died while he was hopping around destroying stuff in Harlem, right? Because this is the same character, so everything that happened, unless they cleaned it up, how do you get a pardon from that?
You've changed. You've become a different man.
No, that's not. If you are all right, this
No,
thing
no, you don't
where
have to go on. It's just that there's this whole take on anti-hero thing where everybody can come back. Every bad guy. We see this happen. Of course, we've been talking about this for a long time. Where sometimes things are just too much to come back from.
yes, yes, that's
And
what I'm saying.
unfortunately, we have this where characters who've done reprehensible things, But we have to also remember heroes have done some pretty bad things. So we're talking about Abomination destroying
What do
parts of
you?
Harlem. We know the Hulk has destroyed tons of stuff, and so has. I mean, I don't want to say the name. Iron Man has destroyed parts of towns and cities too. So
No, the Hulk was a
we know they
fugitive.
don't have bad intentions, right? That's a
The
key word.
Hulk was a fugitive, but at the same time, his record is of saving the day. The problem is was that he's too destructive at the same time. So you could go with the conceit that the Hulk isn't inadvertently killing people as he's saving the day, right? But we can't give that same conceit to someone that's called the Abomination that's trying to destroy Harlem, right? We're saying inadvertently the Hulk is not killing anyone. We can't say the same for a villain. So that's the hard part of it. We don't suspend disbelief and say, you know what? Why would we suspend disbelief just so he can get off to do this other story? It's asking too much of the fans, right? And the Hulk is ultimately, he sees something, he's usually going on the side of good unless he wants to fight somebody. And he doesn't fight to the death unless he's almost killed Iron Man a couple times. So, or tried to. So yeah, this thing here, I just think they're trying to set up because they cleaned him up. I don't know why they had to make him look almost regular in the face unless they're trying to give him a regular superhuman love interest, which I'm hoping they don't do. I'm praying that they don't go. I forget that guy. His name where he had She-Hulk and the Juggernaut get together, which is ridiculous.
Oh, no.
So
I mean, we've had this whole thing with there was a recent comic where I was reading about who was it? It was the Juggernaut, where he's damaged so much stuff. He's changed. He's like an anti-hero now, and so of course damage control is coming after them. You know, smart damage control, which we've seen prominently in many of the Marvel series. We've seen him in the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We've also seen them in this Marvel comic. I mean, it's an organization controlled that fixes up the damage done by superheroes and heroes. So I mean, they're probably saying something along the lines of Abomination. This is just part of the thing that he's done, and since we fix up with superheroes, and this guy has shown that he's repented, and he has seven people that he's connected with in their soul, seven women, who are helping to put him up. That I think that he's going to be doing a good thing.
Yeah, that sounds just like the you know.
Hey, and we find out that he didn't break out on his own. He was broken out by Wong to practice, right? As Sorcerer Supreme. But you think the Sorcerer Supreme should have someone else. But he
Yeah.
decided to use and we did see this in Shang-Chi, so it's great that we're seeing the connections before there, what happened with Shang-Chi, why he was there, and how he got out, and what's happening now. So I give it a thumbs up for the connection, the comedy of the whole thing, and the fact that the anti-heroes happen.
Wow. I just think well, then they also had a B story where this guy was duped into a romance with Megan Thee Stallion when it was actually Elf. Now the problem is that the Elf didn't need to be in the show. It could have just been Megan Thee Stallion the entire time, and it would have been funnier because they're telling the Elf to go back, and they're saying, "No, I'm Megan Thee Stallion." That whole thing, right? But they didn't do that anyway. So for me, a lot of the gags didn't. I think also having the a-hole lawyer. I think lawyers like those stockbroker type guys,
Used
they're
car
a little,
salesman.
huh?
Used car salesman.
Yeah, but I think sort of behind the scenes is a little bit rougher with the dialogue. So I wouldn't be like, because LA Law tried to hint at it with a couple of lawyers where they had the straight lace ones and the kind of rough around the edges ones. But I think, these lawyers, like what is it? You say, what happens, what do get if you kill 1,000 lawyers, a good start type of deal. Like that sort of thing of these people that are dealing with these things and trying to hedge bets on life and death sometimes, taking people's money. It's all this crash sort of stuff, and they're like saying, hey, this lawyer is trying. I mean, they're in cases that literally have the craziest sort of things to deal with, and they just trying to do this thing where they're trying to have a-hole lawyer. Just didn't read to me because it's just like that business. You're going to be dealing with a lot of crash people, like a lot of wild subject matter. So I wouldn't, like kind of trying to make one guy, this guy kind of backwards in his way, and that's why he kind of get his comeuppance and that sort of thing. But it's just for me, like as I said with the WandaVision, some of that stuff didn't land for me, and the same with Emil Blonsky and the Hulk kind of being like, yeah, we had our different. Like, what are you talking about? Like the Hulk, was like trying to take him down, like kill him. He's like, you're trying to kill everybody, trying to kill me, and next thing you know, what happens? Betty stops him. So, yeah, and the Hulk is pretty upset about that.
So we're back to the Hulk. I thought we were talking about Megan Thee Stallion. So
Well, we're not talking about the She-Hulk. So She-Hulk ultimately there's a C story where she's going home and she gets attacked by these ragamuffin crooks, and we find out that they're actually the supposed wrecking crew. And the problem with the Hulk's blood being something that you could just cut and get to other people, that's kind of, I was okay in the original story, but actually getting a transfusion that straight dope into your bloodstream, kind of doing something and changing it. But doing the thing where you just pour it on each other's blood, I guess they would take it and they would inject themselves with it. So it would be kind of the same thing as a transfusion. So, but I didn't like, once you let people know that this is how you can get it, then the first story they did was someone else trying to take it. So
well,
I think,
I don't think she told anybody how she got it. I think
why are they going after it?
Well, they know the Abomination did it, so they probably figured it's the same thing, right?
But he got the modified secret soldier serum.
I don't know. I know that they did that, but getting back to the story of the elf, I kind of disagree with you in there, in that, the gag was the elf. No one thought that Megan. They kept on dropping Megan Thee Stallion's name again and again and again. So, but she actually showed up at the end and that's what the gag was. That she wasn't. You thought it was going to be the elf. The elf is there that she was dressing up in, and that was the actual defense that the She-Hulk had. That no one in the world would have believed that someone would date this guy. In his mind, he believed that he could catch Megan Thee Stallion. That's how eventually they were able to win the case. That he actually believed that, even though everybody knew he wasn't up to that level. And so
You're
when you see
saying to
her again, you're
me,
like, yeah,
you're saying to me that I missed the joke. The actual joke is having the elf run around when the elf is a nobody, right?
exactly. It's a nobody, but this guy,
No, we
same
get
time,
that. The thing you can have the person turn to the nobody back and forth, but the fact that having Megan Thee Stallion and being there in the courtroom would be way funnier. Writing to her character saying, "Hey, I'm me. I'm here." And they say, "We know you're not Megan Thee Stallion. She's on tour. She's doing XYZ."
but she was there. That's what we catch at the end. Look at this is the Megan Thee Stallion, and this guy thought he could be.
Later in the story, not at the same point.
But that was the whole joke, the whole thing to keep her till the end. So, all right, look, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. What do you think about the Juan being involved in this story? What do you think about that?
I don't like Wong showing up in these stories like Stan Lee, but I don't really connect him to the entire Marvel universe. I don't know why we have to keep seeing him in all these stories, but I mean, he's becoming the mainstay, and they're getting to throw in their diversity in this thing too. So
Oh my gosh! So I don't know if it has to be anything with diversity, but I do like the Juan. Juan reminds us of the agent. What's the name of the character from Shield who used to be in a lot of the different shows? Iron Man, and he'll pop up here and there.
Coulson, you're trying to say he's the new Coulson?
I think he's more like the. He's not Coulson per se, but I'm saying a character like that in terms of he's being sprinkled around the Marvel universe.
Wow.
So not Stan Lee. Stan Lee's a bit different, so we don't want to put him in there. But he helps to frame the issue. Sorry about that. I was just getting dry. But overall, I think it was a. It's still look. The She-Hulk is it's a comedy, and if you take it as a comedy, you're gonna enjoy yourself. And I think so far, have been enjoying myself. You know, so overall, episode 3 was good. Agree or disagree?
Um, it was just kind of not that great to me.
Okay, so we're moving on to episode 4. Number 4 is this not the real magic? So for frame this is there's a magician named Donnie Blaze, not Johnny Blaze, but Donnie Blaze, and we all know Johnny Blaze is the Ghost Rider, right? And so he is part of the Mystic Castle. Of course, there's a famous magic castle out in California, and he was a former, I guess, disciple of Wong, and he got kicked out of unethical use. So he's now trying to be a musician, in a magician show, and he's using the arts that he learned. I think he has a ring. He has a ring, not art. I know he has a ring where he can create portals, and he's using that to like wow people. And unfortunately, he's also sending people through there. And we see Wong having to get involved to. He basically goes to She-Hulk and say, "Hey, Jennifer Walters, I'm hiring you to stop this guy from using magic," and that's where the case comes up. What is your take on this, Billy?
It's kind of forced to kind of get Wong in there and to get their
It was hilarious to have Wong fighting somebody over magic.
in court. All right, here we go. The only thing that worked is Madisynn. That was the only thing that worked. And I'm sorry, even though I've experienced different, we have to go with many people saying this is Wong's girlfriend because she was calling Wongers and they were sharing drinks. But I have to say, I have to use the Dumb and Dumber rule, which actually didn't work. That doesn't apply to me. Um, Basically, if she's hinting of getting drunk with him, and he's not taking the hint, they are just buddies. Same with what's the name? They're just she's gonna put him in the friend zone. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen. Wonger's holding the pale pillow. He's not showing enough interest. You get put in the friend zone. That's it. That's how it goes, buddy. But
Well,
this,
they said that the director said in an interview that that whole thing that because their comedic chemistry was really good, they decided to like put that scene where they were doing more stuff. So you know, so that's why like, they're there. So that's why we see her more. She does carry Madisynn does have a fun thing in there. She's calling Wong Wongster. You know, she's the girl who unfortunately
Wongers.
Wonger, where he unfortunately she goes into the portal and she goes into Wong's area, and she makes a deal with a with a demon, I guess it is. And of course she she gives up the surprise for Sopranos for to Wong. You know, tells him what's going to happen in the show. Which, by the way, is legit. If you have not seen Sopranos in this time, you are allowed to disclose what happened in any show. If you have not,
Nothing happened.
there's a one, huh?
Nothing happens.
It's a more you can't block people from giving you the spoiler after the
There's
show's.
nothing to spoil.
So the point of the spoiler. That's all I'm saying. Okay. If you haven't seen the show after a specified amount of time, you know, which is not
There's nothing to spoil. You
okay.
saw the last episode of The Sopranos, right?
Yes.
Nothing happened. So we can move on. Wong wasted your time trying to worry about what the ending is because there's nothing to get out of that ending.
Okay. Long story short, did you enjoy the little demons coming out that Wong was coming out? Was fighting.
Actually, no. They had the worst actor in the world playing Donnie Blaze. Like I don't know how this guy keeps getting work, but someone in Hollywood, he's sleeping with the right people, as they say.
Whoa, hold up. Let's not be
How
dissing.
else is this guy getting the work?
No. The guy has a particular shtick, and people like it. So let's
Who
stop that.
likes it?
He seemed okay here, so I'm not knocking it. So
Did he seem okay here?
seemed okay, fine. I have no problem with it.
Who
You
would you
know,
pick him for as his next role? Next to in
he's
what
an actor.
franchise do you want him in?
He'll find it. He'll find his role. That's all I gotta say.
He's been working for
Fine.
a long time. You've been working a hard time and you ain't got nothing, but people will not let him go.
Hey, there's something you ever heard called character actors. That's their job. They're
No,
involved in like
character actors are good. He is like they had a movie where it's him and the guy who was in like Minority Report that kind of um, helps out Tom Cruise and with the thing. Like those two guys are like the worst on the planet. They were in a movie together. I was just like, wow, these guys. I don't know how they keep getting work, but you know. But anyway, yeah, this one she gets a love interest in this one. They connect, and of course, you gotta have it be some sort of brother or half a brother, or whatever he is.
Oh, why do you say
Mhm.
that? I thought it was Batrock for a minute there when she got together with the dude.
Who?
Batrock
Who's
from
that?
the Captain America movies, the guy who's always kicking the TV show. He was fighting
That truck?
Batrock.
Why would you think it was him?
I thought it was dude. I don't know,
A
probably because
boyfriend?
the boy she got. Look,
No, that guy is like
the
got
B
an
story.
accent.
The B story was that she couldn't get with anybody as Jennifer Walters because, of course, they make her look really downy. Then, so she puts in her She-Hulk persona and she has dates to the wazoo. And most of them not really interested in her because of who she is. They're interested because she looks like She-Hulk dropped dead green. And so, of course, she hangs out with this one dude. And the next morning, she's like regular making breakfast, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm out. You're not what I
That's
found."
come
It's a
on.
common refrain, you know.
There's no there's no planet in the world where that would happen.
What do you mean? It happens all the time.
No, it doesn't. It's not waking up and the lights turning on.
It's
She
the
can
lights
turn
turning
back
on.
into the She-Hulk.
She could, but he's like, "Yo, this is not what I was thinking of," and then he broke. You know,
What
or
is
he
it?
was
What is it? He's gonna eat breakfast, and she's gonna turn back into the She-Hulk at some point.
well, he didn't then, and I guess he's happy with what he got, so he left early. Okay.
No, but they tried to make it like awkward. Can I think I want to go, and it's just like the whole point. I don't know. I think that that's why I was interested in that you know he She Hulk was connected to Wyatt Wingfoot for a decent amount of time, and then at one point tried to go on a date with Luke Cage type of deal. But I think I don't know. It's just to me. it was kind of a plot thing that they just kind of threw in there, which was they could find, I think what's the name, her boyfriend who was Zapper in the original comic book. He was connected to both She-Hulk and Jen, so it's just like I don't know. And you're gonna act like the freaking what's the name? That chick's gonna get is not gonna get anybody. Like, come on, it's just ridiculous. You're
I
going
don't-
too far, man.
All right, so I guess I had problems with the whole little demon aspect of it. Didn't think that was very strong, but I thought overall it was a good episode. Just take out those weird little baby pig demons or whatever, But other than that, I thought it was funny. So I give another thumbs up, thinking, hey, go watch it. And Cal, I mean, Petey, what's your take? Your take is that it wasn't a good episode at all.
Um, I just some of the stuff is just like when you have like Doctor Strange, you know those four finger rings, like everyone having a four finger ring out there, where it didn't seem like Benjamin Brad had that when he was going around. So I think outside of seeing it somehow get outside by this lame guy is really beyond me. So I think they
Well,
had someone a little more chutzpah as far as a villain. You
I
know,
took it. I took it that he took it. He wasn't supposed to take it, so he's practicing magic. I don't know. So
from
hey,
the ancient one that knew that Baron Mordo was setting him up, knew it. Anyway, um, I guess they make everything work for the plot. They have to get these plots going the way they want them to go. So they're not writing to the characters; they're writing to these plot things that fall into it. So anything that was a little more natural, like the Madisynn stuff, seemed like fun, and everything else is kind of like, oh, when he sees her in the human form, he's gonna be a weird, and then he's gonna come back later and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," just so we can see that sort of split between what they seeing someone with the lights on and
right.
saying, "Oh, that's not who I was with." No, actually, Shield is in makeup. That's what she changes into. So, uh, we're
Okay.
sitting
So
here.
you're having problems with it. I'm not. So overall, hey,
You're loving it. Every joke
like
lands for you. It's just the quality TV.
it's just light stuff. I'm not dealing with it.
See, there you go. You're giving it a break because you're saying it's a light-hearted. It's like the Small Wonder. We had to go back to that, huh?
Oh my gosh, small wonder. Very lighthearted. So
That's
hey,
it.
everybody,
Yeah,
if
that's
you
it.
like it, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, spin rock.
Out.